In today's video, we're going to be talking about early signs that someone is about to resign within the workplace. Now, there's a few early signs you can look out for, but I'm going to break it down into four key ones. You'd be surprised how many people don't actually know what signs to look out for if someone truly is disengaged and they're looking for employment elsewhere. If you think about it, if you knew the early signs of someone resigning and you saw someone giving off these traits, you could put a stop to it and ultimately keep one of your best people. So here are the four main things to look out for if you do feel like someone is going to leave the company and get a new job. So the first and most obvious one to find is reduced effort in their general work. Now, there's many reasons why people may have reduced effort in the workplace. This could be down to any sort of personal reasons or other reasons in the company. But ultimately, this is also a sign that someone is looking for a new job and they have disengaged. If someone is showing less effort, if they're a top performer and they're reducing their task list or their efficiency isn't as good, then potentially this is something to look out for, as it may mean they are very disengaged, unhappy, and looking elsewhere for employment. Number two is all about withdrawal from conversations. So if you're in a meeting and there's a person who regularly attends the meetings, they take part, they partake in a lot of conversations, they add a lot of their thoughts. This slopes over time. Potentially, they're not saying as much in the meetings, they're being quieter, you almost forget they're there. Then definitely this is another reason someone has disengaged and potentially is looking for a new job. So withdrawal from conversations, not just in these meetings, but generally, as well as their ideas and ways to improve in the workplace, is another sign that someone is potentially looking elsewhere for employment. The third one is pulling back from growth. All employees who are enthusiastic want to progress in the company and work their way up through the business. Now, you may have someone who had this attitude a few weeks ago, a few months ago, even a few days ago. And if this has changed, then this may mean as well they've disengaged. So if people have had enough and they did have a clear career path that they were working towards in the past and that seems to have gone, or they don't really seem as intrigued to progress or work their way up through their role, then this is another sign that someone may have disengaged. So having a clear career path that someone can see visually and they're working towards it every day is something definitely to look out for. This is something that's important for the one-to-one weekly meetings as well, to keep an eye on someone's progress and their work towards their goals. So reduced effort in their tasks and career growth is the third one to look out for. And finally, something to keep a kind of perspicacious, close eye on, and that's subtle behavioural changes. So what I mean by this is behavioural changes in terms of when do they arrive in work, how many days of sick are they now having, what kind of things are they doing in their lunch break, which they were in the past. So small things in someone's routine, which may have changed depending on where they are. So if someone started work at 9 a.m., they're used to getting to work at 8:30 every morning, prep themselves, get ready for the day. They now arrive at 8:55, right before 9 o'clock. Or in their lunch breaks, if they're working a bit extra in their lunch, or they're talking to colleagues about work, or they're enthusiastic in that time, but now they're taking a walk outside, they feel like they're not as involved in the team anymore in these breaks. Small things like that, behavioural changes, is something to look out for. So this is definitely another sign that someone is fully disengaged from their work. And ultimately, if someone's disengaged, they may be looking for new employment as well. So overall, these are the four things I would personally look out for if I was a manager in a company to see if someone is disengaged. Now, if you think about it, if this person is a high performer, it's someone the business wants to retain, an early conversation with this employee to check on them and see if they are disengaged, what can change, what can you do to improve their experience, could result in you saving some of your best people and keeping them retained. And you'd be surprised how many people don't know the signs to look out for when someone does feel like they're disengaged and they are looking for employment elsewhere. So if you can keep an eye on these four things I've gone through in today's video and check with your employees to see if they are engaged, they're on board with the mission of the department and the company, and you can save some of your best people and improve your retention in the business.